Let's get this show going, man.
Welcome to the Bleeding Burgundy podcast, a Washington Commanders podcast for fans by fans, with your hosts, Jessy Martin.
Because 90% of them are wrong. They're fucking wrong.
Max Taman.
You've got a plate of shit and you've got a bowl of shit. They're the same thing.
Scott Hartley.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Yeah.
John Taman.
What the hell was I talking about?
I just don't get it. I don't get it.
And now, the world's worst podcast host, John Taman.
Hey everybody, I am the world's worst podcast host, but you know what I'm good at? I'm good at titillating Scott G, man. Look at the anticipation on this young man. I was not even 60 seconds late. Look at him. He's making us wait again. Oh! All right, hey man, it's fucking Victory Monday. It is playoff Monday, boys. It is 11-win Monday. It is Max hasn't answered my text. I don't know where he is. Probably stuck in traffic Monday. And so Mrs. Happy gets to do her dance. Go, Miss Happy. What the fuck? There you go.
Those batteries getting low, John. All these wins.
Yeah, I told you. Miss Happy requires a DC adapter. And back in 1997, I had enough with the DC adapters. I gave them up. And now she's getting low. By the way, that's my good friend over there from southeastern Virginia, Jessy. Jessy Martin, how you doing today, bud?
Fan-fucking-tastic, man.
Fan-fucking-tastic. Playoff-tastic. And down below, of course, dialing in from northwestern the UK, our good friend Scott Hartley. Welcome back, Scott. I think this makes your 289th consecutive guest spot on the show.
I think so. Thereabouts, mate. I'm just waiting to be turfed off.
You know what?
Sling your hook.
When I started this podcast many years ago, I didn't want anybody on this motherfucker, and now I got you goofs taking over my shit.
Oh, you called me.
That's true.
Yeah.
Let me see here. I
called you as a guest.
I just wormed my way in.
I know.
You are the prime host of this show.
I'm the worst host of podcasts ever. Stop it. I
hate hosting, and I'm glad that you do it, John.
I know. And you know what? I'm glad I do it, too, because no offense to you, bud, but listening to the show while you're going, and welcome to the, when you start stumbling over shit, I'm like, God damn it. All right, so Scott, why don't you take us from here for just a second? Tell us, you are brand new to this playoff sit, right? Is this your first time?
No, second, obviously, with Ron Rivera when we got in a few years ago.
That's true.
And then the RG3 season as well. So, yeah, but pretty much I'm a virgin to 11 wins. That's for certain. So
the most that you've ever had at one time is 10. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, wow. 10 wins. Yeah, I think
that's
10 wins.
That's a decent size, Scotty.
That is.
Wow.
That's a lot of pillow talk. So how are you feeling here? I mean, I know you were bitching all day yesterday. I've got to stay up late and watch the game. It's going to be over till 4 a.m.
It was difficult. Obviously, I hate the late games. I appreciate if you're a good side, you're going to have late games. So I'm looking forward to more and more late games. But the thing that annoys me with it more than anything is you get so amped up with the game, and then by the end of it, you're like, oh, we've won, we've lost, whatever, and things are coursing through your brain, and you can't get to sleep for at least another hour and a half anyway. So right. I think I finally went to bed at about just after 5. So no, it was good. It was a great night, absolutely fantastic night, and I kept it quiet as well, so my family were quite impressed, which was interesting.
I know you were in the group chat. You were like,
shh. They're upstairs sleeping. Yeah, no, it was good, man. It was what a game. I mean, yeah, just we'll get into it, but what an unbelievable game.
I can't believe I can't find what I'm looking for. Imagine that. I can't find what I'm looking for. Oh well, I'm gonna stop looking for it. Let's see here. So I'll tell you what. Everybody was talking today about where you were in 1991. The last time that we won 11 games and all of that kind of stuff like that. But a couple of people had put up a picture of yourself, and I just don't have one. If I'm going to go get a picture of myself, I got to go find it in the storage locker, take it out of the album, and take a picture of it with my phone. All right, that's the only way I'm going to get one on there.
I found one when I was in 1991. I was in Germany. My father was in Iraq, and I had a T-shirt with "Turtles Take Iraq" on. So yeah, it was in Desert Storm at this time.
There we go.
So yeah, there you go. Interesting. So that's going back a while. What was I, 7? Yeah, I'd have been 7. Jesus.
I can't believe it. I can't find what I'm fucking looking for. Oh,
Jesse, how old would you be? 9?
You were at every game that year, weren't you?
I was 9 years old.
Mm.
All right. Well, I'm just going to stop.
10 years old.
That's too bad.
John was 34.
Yeah, I was. No, I was. Let's see. No, I was. Let's see. Yeah, I was 28. Is what I was.
28. Oh, okay.
28. Yeah. So I was born in '63. So, but yeah, man, that was all right. I was 28, sitting here in my house, watching it from my couch. We won, and the first thing I did was grab the big flag that I had and ran over to my neighbor's house that's a Cowboys fan and fucking rang the doorbell and shoved it all in his fucking house.
Good man.
So. That's what we did for fun back in those days.
Someone just reminded me that, a lot of fans, especially the ones that we engage with through social media and the likes, they weren't even born in 1991, so they have no idea. Obviously until now, they just. I mean, why would you pick this fucking team to root for? Really?
I don't know, Scott. Why don't you answer that? I mean, Maxwell didn't have any choice.
I mean, honestly, like I said to you, it was all about the logo. It was all about the color scheme. I loved it. I got into it when American friends, got me into it. American military mates, so they were watching Super Bowls, that sort of thing. And it was RG3. It's all RG3's fault. As soon as that draft came, it was like, and then the run down the sideline against the Vikings, that was the colours to the mast moment. Then I was like, yeah, this is my team.
Colours to the mast. Don't you mean a purple bell end is what I'm hearing? That's what I'm
hearing. Maybe, yeah. But it was like, oh, shit. And then it's been downhill ever since. But just think, man, we've been here, this is realistically now. I mean, you can't say that last season was Josh Harris's first season. You can say that this is properly first season of a new regime, new ownership, all that stuff. And Dan Snyder didn't get 11 wins in 25 years. It's taken Josh Harris 1 year.
1 year. Well, we never had the quarterback either. That makes a big difference.
No, it does. But
he had opportunities to get it, and he fucked them up.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yep, so there you go. So fuck you, Dan Snyder. We'll take that. We'll celebrate by saying fuck you, Dan Snyder. And for everybody that's going to join us today, welcome to the celebration. We're in the playoffs. Anybody that's in the chat that wants to give us where they were in 1991, that'll be interesting to find out. And any of you people that are over there watching on X or some of the other social media outlets that we tend to use, please come on over here on YouTube and watch us here on the Bleeding Burgundy podcast channel. And then you can converse with us, and Scott will type back to you, and I will make fun of how loud it is because it'll be banging in my headphones. Or the Bang Radio channel. Yes, that's true. But, it doesn't really matter where they are. Oh, what do you know? Young man, I hope you brought a
son. I can't
tardiness. Your tardiness, Max. Where have you been?
Do you really want to know?
No.
Not really. But
I think my wife had a suggestion.
Y'all are supposed to be related, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, how do you put up with that, John?
I don't put up with it at all.
You are the
first
time
thing
Nazi.
That's right. You make fun of me for that, but Max, what have I always taught you about being on time? What is one of the most important things you can do?
Is to be late.
On time. Don't be late.
I'm here early every show.
Oh, I'm not blaming you for this. This is for fucking fun. But yeah, man. You youngins out there that we're talking to that weren't born in 1991, you're going to have a good, important job interview, don't be late. It's the most important thing you can do. Anyway, Max, we were talking about the playoffs and how you felt the last time that you were there. Oh, my God.
What?
Okay.
He wasn't there.
I got to tell you.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, I'm feeling pretty fucking sexy myself. I must say, this is the second time in 2 days that I have gotten an actual, I'm going to take a screenshot of this and show it to you. I've got an actual porn bot here that has followed my last post about the show with 0 followers and 0 following. I am her first. I
think that's a match made in heaven.
I feel honored. And I mean, this young girl, Patty Naked, that's what her name is, Patty Naked.
Patty Naked?
She wants to meet nice men on the internet for dating and casual discussions and things like that. But if I want to see every goddamn ounce of her fallopian tubes, I can go and click this link if I want to. But hey, I just feel honored that I'm not kidding. I'm going to have to share this screen and let y'all see this. That's something else. And really, if you're not, just thrilled yet with how X has changed since the election's over, my God, those fucking porn bots are everywhere now.
They are.
They were bad before, but oh my God,
every single tweet is ridiculous.
Like Elon was supposed to have gotten rid of them, and for
he's
like
not gonna get rid of that.
30 seconds, it got better, but then it just seems like it's gotten worse.
I think what annoys me with it more than anything is you get a thread and then it's like, oh, okay, and then you look at the thread and the next post down is just wall-to-wall porn. I'm like, what is going on with this now? It's ridiculous. You can't even like look without anything. Yeah, I bet it's the lights.
It is the lights in the background.
Exactly.
I'm telling you, Karen's right on top of it. John's brothel is wide open, and yes, when you have lights like this in your house, it invites wall-to-wall porn. Which, by the way, in the 90s was a fetish that lasted for a little while. It was with enormously fat people, and however many of them you could cram into a phone booth, basically.
At John's brothel.
At John's brothel. We cater to everything. That's right. Our sex chairs are graded up to 1,000 pounds. So we got horse harnesses. All right. Anyway, enough with all of that stuff. Max, how do you feel about being in the playoffs?
Oh, amazed! I told you guys at the beginning of the year we would, as three of us called it.
Right.
But I had us at 11-6, and I might be a loss off. We might be 12-5. And hey, I'm glad to be wrong.
Yeah. We might be 12-5. We might be 11-6, but we'll talk about that. Jesse, how do you feel about being in the playoffs? Probably pessimistic.
Well, I mean, we'll get into this later. I think it's all about the matchups when you get into the playoffs.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that's true. And I tell you what, it's hard to look at us matching up against any of these playoff teams and feeling pretty good about it. I mean, you got 14-2 teams that are, you got guys that are going into as wild cards at 14-2, 13-3. Mm-hmm. It's crazy how good some of these teams are. But we got Jaden Daniels.
That's it, and you've got to get if you get a ticket to the dance, you might as well use it. Do you know what I mean? So let's hope. All it is now is it's hope. That it gives you the hope to say, "Hey, we got there." And what it does do for this franchise, I think, John, is it makes it a viable option more than it was already.
Oh yeah.
If you can say, "Hey, we can go into free agency next year, going, you know what, we've been in the playoffs. This is what we need to maintain. We can win divisions going forward. We've got the quarterback sorted." This is now a destination where people will want to come. We already heard that from Schefter a while ago, just before the trade deadline. But this just cements it even more now for me.
I think the best thing out of everything is we undoubtedly, and this might piss somebody off that's watching, have the best quarterback in our division now. When for so many years it's been the worst.
Yeah, I'd say that's undoubted. That's completely true right now. Jalen Hurts, can say he's very good, but that's about all I think you've seen his ceiling. And while it's very good, he's also got a hell of a cast around him. Jaden Daniels, you saw it last night. That dude can put the team on his back and go win the fucking game.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. And I mean, credit to him, and credit to Cliff Kingsbury for being able to call plays that allowed him to do it. Even though, how many times were you were having a heart attack last night? Scotty, how many times did you just fucking lose your shit last night? Oh my God.
3, 4. I mean, it never seemed to. Every emotion you played out last night, it was, oh my God, we're going to lose this. Oh my God, they're driving. Oh my God, this is ridiculous. Then the field goal miss, and you're like, oh wow, how have we got here? But I think the minute it got into overtime, and I said to Scouse in the chat, because the stream kept dropping out, because for some stupid reason, DAZN's been doing this lately. And I asked the other UK guys who are watching through DAZN, they said exactly the same thing, that it's been getting really sketchy, the stream, when it's only CBS for some reason.
Well, last time it was on NBC.
Yeah, well,
it
must have been. I don't know. I don't know where the stream comes from. They just stream whatever it is in America. But the stream was shocking at times. And when I said to Scouse last night, who won the toss? And he said, we did.
Like all of a sudden, wall-to-wall porn?
Yeah.
Shocking.
We've got, it was like, we've got the ball. And I was like, right, okay. As soon as it got into Jaden Daniels' hands, I didn't feel like we were ever going to lose in overtime.
That's the best part of it, man. I feel the same way. It doesn't matter how far you have to go. What is this? His fifth game-winning touchdown with no time left.
Fifth touchdown in the last 30 seconds of a game, which is ridiculous.
That's crazy.
Ridiculous, isn't it?
That's crazy. All right, well, let me look
7-2 at home. 7-2 at home as well, John. That's a fortress.
Yeah, it is.
And whether it's other people's fans are in there, like you were there the other week, Max, with the Eagles game. Whether they're there or not, that our home has become a fortress now.
And you look at those two losses, just about the home record: 1 point to Pittsburgh, and then the dud against Dallas.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Dallas dud. We're going to call that forever.
And
but the 1 pointer against
those two
Pittsburgh
games should have easily been wins, to be honest.
Right.
With you.
Yeah, I can't explain the Cowboys win, and I don't know that we're going to get a real reckoning next week either.
I mean, if Siebert makes an extra point in that Dallas game, it's a whole different. It's not an onside kick at the end. Like, it's a whole different thing.
Right. So, what did you like about last night, Jesse? We'll start with you. Just like in general.
I mean, you got to like the fact that Jaden Daniels put the team on his back and won that game for us.
Absolutely. Scotty, what about you?
Yeah, I would have gone there, but I mean, that is the absolute epitome of the game last night, was that Jaden said, we're winning this game. That is it. But for me, I like the way that for the second week running, when the defense was struggling, we changed it up. The adjustments worked. Went from having, same with Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley had an amazing first half. We shut him down in the second half. This game last night, Bijan Robinson, really good first quarter, a bit of an iffy second quarter. We completely shut him down in the third and fourth. It was almost like backwards. Like how we're used to saying, well, hang on, for the last 5 weeks, we get into the middle of the third quarter and then into the fourth quarter and we're awful. And then as a defense, it's kind of changed almost the way that they've been mixing it up. So, yeah, it's not ideal. I mean, the run game still needs to be worked on. If you want to look at a negative, I mean, I think we're 29th in the league against the run. But it was okay. It was bend, don't break last night. It worked.
Look, one of the surefire ways to put a clamp on the other team's running game is to keep the ball for 13 and a half minutes in the third quarter. My issue,
what Max was asking for.
We'll get into this in a little while, but the defensive collapse last week, it was the whole fourth quarter, or not the last week, but right, we've seen them collapse the whole, and this time it was like in the last 3 minutes. So let me see here. I forgot the fuck where I was right there. Plays anything that you liked or specifically disliked about the game last night, Max?
I mean, as Scott just mentioned, the entire first half of our rush defense. But if we're looking at specifics, I mean, Jaden threw a bad pick.
Yeah, he did have a bad pick.
And it wasn't even anything that he was rolling out. It was just kind of a straight drop. And I will say, in his credit, that's what the play call says to do, and that doesn't give you any time to read the defense.
I think he was baited a little bit, too.
Yeah, Collinsworth pointed that out.
So what that is that's their middle linebacker is the leading sacker for the Falcons. And he lined up on the left side of our offensive line and dropped back to play a drop zone, because that was also our first time going empty the entire game.
That you could also blame Cliff a little bit on that too, because we had been doing a lot of slants.
And when
the Falcons just read it right, and
when you run that play, it's second foot hit, balls out, and Caden Ellis is in the right spot at the right time.
I feel like last night that the Falcons keyed on a lot of things and were able to do a lot. Their defensive line, I thought, kind of dominated our offensive line.
In the first quarter, yeah, definitely. In the first quarter, man.
Well, I for longer than that too. I think that they
maybe
really
the first half, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean in the passing game too, they were getting pressure back there. Jaden was squeezing through a lot of pockets. So I'm hoping that the book isn't out. That says here's how you can. But they didn't stop him last night, did they? They did everything they could to, but they didn't stop him.
Well, they did in the first half, and then the second half, it just kind of flipped. And that's the thing that we've seen is just the second half. Jaden Daniels is amazing.
Yeah, he's
especially the last about 5 games of the season. He's been really.
And that's what you said to your point, Jesse. That's what you were saying about him just literally putting this team on his back and saying, "Oh, you want to get in the playoffs? We're going to get in the playoffs." Like I said to you, there wasn't any moment when we got into overtime that I thought we weren't winning this game. Genuinely thought that's it.
we had, our 3 and out at the end of the game. Mm-hmm. The 3rd and 10 pass that he threw to Zacchaeus hit Zacchaeus in the face.
Right in the hands.
Yeah.
Not even in the face. It hit him in the hands. It hit him in the face. It hit him in the mouth.
In the mace, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a bad
We had
drop.
2 big drops from Terry this game as well. That would have extended drives. I think that was in the first half. So things could have been a little bit different.
I think that he was mostly decoying last night. When you see Zacchaeus, how many catches did he have? Like 12?
Well, AJ Terrell's a damn good cornerback.
Yeah, I was going to. There's 3 things I was going to bring up here. Is 3 things out of this game that I looked at. AJ Terrell is amazing, great player. The second thing is Michael Penix Jr. is the future in Atlanta. That's a fact. I thought to have the absolute balls twice on 4th down to get a 4th and 11 and a 4th and 13 when you need the touchdown, and he got it. I mean, that kid has got a brilliant future. Whether it was, we can argue the debate. He's picked too high. You pick Kirk, all the rest of it. That is a solid quarterback for that franchise moving forward. Thank you, Raheem Morris. Appreciate you not taking the time out.
Yeah,
and then the other thing,
that was bad.
Unbelievable.
That
the
was
other
Ron
thing
Rivera
for me,
move right there.
Yeah, the other thing for me is when we were looking at like what did you take from the game. I took glue players, as Dan Quinn calls them, people who you're not necessarily wanting to see, they just stepped up. The whole team stepped up. People like John Bates, McNichols, I've got, Fowler again, Armstrong coming through, Ertz making massive payday for him, but they're coming in clutch, these players.
Yeah.
OZ as you mentioned, clutch. You know what I mean? And when you need these players who you're thinking to yourself, this is a 4th string wide receiver or a 3rd string tight end, they're coming through. That effort for McNichols on the second effort was huge.
Oh, that
absolutely
was amazingly huge. That was a massive play. It might have been one of the biggest plays of the season right there. I thought that was
reading something. What was that?
That was the 4th down play where he got bent in half.
The second, third effort.
Yes.
That was.
I'm gonna crash my dog out. Astro.
But I mean, weirdly enough, right? Tim's right in what he's saying because we watch with eyes. Michael Davis was horrible, and we'll get into that. I'm certain. But at the same time, he was actually our highest tackler on the day.
Well, because they're throwing at him. That means that doesn't mean anything. All that means is that the ball is going his way. And when your cornerback is your highest tackler, that's a bad sign for him.
That's true. The case, but
the ball should be going at him.
Some people act like St. Juice has been any better, and I'm sorry.
No, he hasn't.
It's not.
He had a nice.
We've sung this song and danced this dance time in and time out. I still would rather see Michael Davis on the field than Benjamin St. Juice.
No.
I do want to say that
obviously the coaches agree.
In limited sense, Benjamin St. Juice was our 5th highest graded defensive player yesterday.
But how many plays did he play?
Snaps did he have?
More than you would
8?
think.
Well, I think 10.
It was.
How many? What was it?
Give me a second. Hang on. I got to pull that up. I took a nap and I woke up late. Hang on.
Well, there you go. There you go.
My alarm never went off.
Here's the thing: whether it's St. Juiced, or whether what they told Penix in his green little dot on the back of his head was, if 24 is on the field, go at him. If it's 25, go at him. If it's 24 and 25, fucking do whatever the hell you want.
I mean, the moral of this story is we got a lot of work to do in the back end. We need two cornerbacks.
Well, we at least need one. If Lattimore comes back strong next year and has a full year, that would be great. I'm not so optimistic about that. But Mikey is 100% keeper. I like Igbenogany. I expect him to be on the team next year. And if we go after I do agree, starting cornerback is a fucking must. It's a must.
Welcome DJ Reed.
Well,
Come on down.
They signed fucking dipshit Mike Davis. That was one of their first signings. And, granted, they've been good with their signings. They've been good at getting guys that will fit what they're going to do. But where the hell what the fuck did they look at for this guy? I don't know.
I mean, again, you said it. It's obviously the coaching staff feels the same way because they benched Benjamin St. Juice before even Lattimore got healthy.
Right.
Or Mike Davis.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you're getting benched for Mike Davis, I got to tell you, you're out the door.
Yeah.
So, and, Tim, Suck it up, buddy. You don't have to. I mean, it's okay to say this guy isn't very good. It doesn't mean we don't think he's a good person. He's Canadian. It's almost a guarantee. He's going to be polite. Also known as Saint Ghost. All right, so what else do we have here? Let's see. How do we look statistically yesterday?
I've got the stats. If you haven't got them.
I've got it.
Good, man.
So
top bloke.
So Jaden was 24 of 36 for 227 yards, 3 touchdowns and 1 interception.
Hold on, before you move on for Jaden, I must as we talk about this, I'm going to go with the records that he's broken.
Okay.
Jaden Daniels joins Michael Vick as the only quarterback in the NFL history to record 225 plus passing yards, plus 3 passing touchdowns, and 125 rushing yards in a single game.
Wow. Yeah. Jesus.
What else did he break? He broke RG3's record, didn't he?
The rushing record.
Right.
He scored 31. Jaden has scored a combined 31 touchdowns, passing and rushing this season. Moved past Russell Wilson for number 3 all time by a rookie quarterback.
And he's 4 touchdowns away from that record?
Yeah. Jaden Daniels is now 12 passing touchdowns in the fourth quarter and overtime this season, most by a rookie in NFL history.
That's crazy. I mean, it's one thing that we have been sitting here for so many years saying, you have to have a very good quarterback,
and
to
not
compete.
knowing what that means.
Well, I've known what it means. I've seen one. I'm old.
One more record. More record. Jaden Daniels has become the first quarterback in NFL history with 2+ touchdowns, 200+ passing yards, 65+ rushing yards in 3 straight games.
Jesus. I mean, this dude.
That's not rookie.
It just keeps going up.
Quarterback. This is in history.
It just keeps going up. Yeah. And, I always say that sometimes they come up with some real bullshit stuff to try to fluff a guy up. He's the fastest guy to 9.5 touchdowns in the first 12 quarters and 13 minutes of his career. It's dumb shit like that. But these are serious fucking
shit.
Meaty. Yeah, this is muscly shit. So when you see a play like him getting twisted like a pretzel last night.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
So I had a buddy at the game,
right?
One of my coworkers, and he said that when Jaden got twisted, the entire stadium just let out an audible gasp.
I guess they would.
The amount of carbon dioxide that escaped the stadium at that moment could have probably...
The rainforest.
It's not done the ozone layer any good, has it? Let's be honest. Fuck those farting cows. Anyway,
it pays to be young and flexible, right?
Those are the fucking Eagle fans that show up at the stadium.
True.
But
man, we're 5 away. I mean, I don't think Jaden can get 5 touchdowns in the last regular season game.
He got 5 touchdowns last week.
He did, but we're 5 away from. We're 5 away from him having a 30 touchdown season.
Kenny Pickett threw himself into a sack yesterday, but he also threw for 3 touchdowns. So
did you see the one with the ball?
Kenny Pickett.
Oh my God!
That's what I mean.
Made himself do a fucking somersault.
Tonight's festivities, the celebration of the playoffs,
funny.
brought to you by, of course, Kettle One.
Kettle One.
I thought Kenny Pickett played all right.
We should have loaded that
yesterday.
video of Kenny Pickett throwing himself on the ground.
Wow.
That was
It was
probably
real
the
good.
funniest.
I will say on the
thing I
reverse
saw
angle that Jesse said,
day
you can
yesterday.
see that his wrist gets hit, so he doesn't let go of the ball, but he flipped himself out. I don't know. He did something I've never seen happen on a football field before.
Those are usually good things, but not often. We've been seeing Jaden Daniels do things that nobody has ever seen done on a football field before.
It's just the speed and the way he glides. I mean, I was watching Red Zone before this.
It looks easy, dog.
Yeah,
it does. I mean, I'm not saying that, I'm not trying to compare Mac Jones to Jaden Daniels, but if you watch, the way that they're running, or even Josh Allen, and I watched Josh Allen back, the way that they're running and the way that they move, it's just ridiculous.
Dude, you watch him turn
his glides.
Yeah, you watch him when he's running on these sweeps. And he turns his head and he looks at the defensive end behind him, and then he just puts it into just zip, and he's up and gone. And then he's trying to juke fucking linebackers. He's giving him the freaking the bob and weave on the linebacker. I'm like, dude, you don't weigh that much.
So let me continue with the stats.
Please.
is he had 5 sacks for 31 yards lost.
He took a couple of bad ones, too. He took one that was a blindside, just a devastating sack.
And it's rookie left tackle left the edge rusher unguarded. And
he didn't have a good game, Coleman.
So I have that, too. Coleman had a 60.6 PFF grade.
Yeah, I'd need them to tell me that.
So one of his sacks, though, I should add, was when he ran out of bounds at 1 yard.
That's right. He did do that.
Loss. Because Jesse Bates was standing at the line of scrimmage. Why does this monitor suck now?
You bought that model, huh? The wall-to-wall porn model.
I really want to read this text loud that I just got.
Go right ahead. Please do.
But I'm not going to.
Oh, come on. Now, you just can't do that.
You can't just tease.
Oh,
Come
man.
on, man.
No, she'd kill me.
I'll have to make it up. That's all. I'm just going to have to make it up.
All right, so
let's see. Jesse. LOL at your pic that you sent me.
Let me see if I can upload it. I'm going to upload this motherfucker. Come on here, so everybody.
All right.
So I'm not going to say it, but I'm going to upload it instead, which is even worse.
We're going to put it out here forever.
My parents are right out the door, and I don't want them hearing me.
Okay, well, let's put that back on there. All right, we're getting ready to get us a text here.
Let's not share
27
that.
yards. 25-yard was his longest run. Brian Robinson had 13 carries for 60 yards, and Chris Rodriguez 5 carries for 16 yards with a touchdown.
Jesus, Scouse, can you not do that?
Scouse, like, he walks up to it and he goes, here's the line of common decency. I'm going to fucking jump right the fuck over it.
Deluxe, that was
Hurdled it. It was like
right past it.
It was like Colin Jackson.
He saw the line.
He better know better not to fuck with Cal Ripken
and just
anymore.
obliterated that bitch.
Deluxe, that was the one I just mentioned for Jaden Sachs, by the way.
Deluxe wants to know how many of Jaden Sachs are him extending the play to last possible second and running out for a 1 yard loss. There has been quite a few of those, but like yesterday, the blindside shot that he took. Sorry, Max, go ahead.
No, it was just the one for those yesterday. The others were actually just in the pocket getting annihilated the way he does.
Yeah, the one that he took the blindside, man, you see that fumble way more often than not.
You know, one of my favorite things that was said about Jaden Daniels, just as a comedy statement coming out of the draft, is when he gets hit, it looks like a Looney Tunes collision. And if you go back and watch his college tapes or if you watch his pro hits, he gets annihilated and just pops right back up.
Well, I mean, at this age, he's going to. It's not going to last forever. So,
for receiving, I'll hit our 3 leaders. Olamide Zaccheaus had 8 catches for 85 yards and a touchdown on 9 targets. Zach Ertz had 6 catches for 72 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Oh, what was that?
No, take that off.
Take that off. All right, then.
And Jamison Crowder had 3 catches for 25 yards on 5 targets.
I thought we'd just been hacked by ISIS there. What's going on here?
No, they know better than to come into this podcast.
You're right. Especially with John's brothel in the back. Yeah.
Fucking A. That's right. I will, motherfuckers, I will take your veils down.
Our notables on defense, Dorrance Armstrong and Dante Fowler each had a sack. Jeremy Chin, Quan Martin had 2 pass defenses, which, oh my goodness, those 2 are laying the lumber back there.
Dante Fowler. Dude, you know, this is going to sound terrible when I say it, but have you ever seen like a fucking gorilla running through the woods with its arms up like this, and it's just crashing through everything? When he does that spin move and slammed into Penix with his arms up like that, I don't even think he knew where Penix was. He just was going with everything he had and fucking ran right into him like a car accident. Arms up and everything. That was gorgeous.
I've got to say though, there was 2 things that came out last night. Fowler was one of them that came out. He got a sack and a forced fumble. That gave him over 10 sacks on the year. So because he was over 10 sacks, he claimed a $250,000 bonus. So congratulations to him. And Ertz got $750,000 last night. So he got. What was it? He got 72 yards last night and 2 TDs. 250 grand for 6 TDs in the year. Wow.
And you thought I wouldn't?
All right.
Oh, shit. Okay, and moving on, back to Zach Ertz. Who's a former Eagle, by the way.
You know what? After that text, you know whose sack hurts? Jesse's.
Hey! Ba-da-bum. Over 60 receptions. So he's now on 61. He got 250 grand for that. And then he got, for 600 yards, he's now at 610. He got 250 grand for that as well. So fair play, Zach Ertz. Cheeky 750. And are we going to mention Jeremy Reeves? That was a nice moment at the end.
That was a nice moment for Jeremy Reeves getting himself. He's going to get married. That's great. And apparently so is Jessy.
Does it mean I've got to buy a new hat, John?
Yes, you do. You have to wear a formal one. Congratulations to Jeremy Reeves. I'm glad that we got the win because, otherwise she might not have been in the mood to say yes. But she said yes. That was a nice moment. Everybody's very happy for that.
The most telling stat of the game.
Go ahead.
13-4 is the penalty disparity yesterday.
That was crazy.
Well, that's the elephant in the room, is it not?
I believe it is. Way too
seamless. That Max, seamless.
So, I know that it's now week 18, but I did find a Twitter account for the officials that will be our lifesaver.
Oh, good.
It is called NFL Ref Stats.
Okay, good.
Every week it produces a cheat sheet for every single matchup for the official of that game.
16-4.
So 13-4.
Oh, that's insane.
Would you like me to go through this cheat sheet so we can actually see how accurate this is?
I guess.
All right, strap in because this is a long one.
Oh well, abbreviate.
So Kemp's crew. Alex Kemp, he places major focus on offensive holding. He ranks number 2 overall in that, and defensive holding is number 1. He calls the second most offensive and the most defensive holding in the league. They are 15 of 17 for false starts. They are top 5 for roughing the passer and illegal use of the hands. Traditionally, they place emphasis on defensive penalties in the 6-year database. DPIs, illegal contacts, have been called at higher than league average in most seasons by this officiating crew.
Is that a list, John?
Well, I don't have a graphic for him. You guys have taken the wrong sides here.
And
it's just Max's list of the week.
Well, this is just a cheat sheet that I found.
Max's cheat sheet.
That's about it in terms of everything that's productive, but it is. I mean, it's very thorough, and it rings true for just about every call that happened yesterday.
That's nice. Here's what I'm thinking. Do you
think we're getting absolutely screwed by the referees over the last few games?
We are.
Genuine question. That's why I put it on the outline, because I thought, are we actually getting a raw deal here, or is it?
I don't think it's intentional. I don't think that the referees collude, and any of you people out there that tell me the NFL is rigged, honest to God, go chase yourself. Go play in fucking traffic. You're too stupid to live. But I do think that the officiating crews. Oh, what is that? Oh, that's Jesse's warm up for Eagles.
He's pre-gaming.
All right. So,
He's only going to make it to the. Jesse's only going to make it to the G.
Eagles.
Jesse's only going to make it to the G.
Wow.
Yeah. At least you can find it. As long as you find the G, I think you'll be all right there.
Jordan started this. I didn't.
Yeah. As long as
don't
you find
fucking
the
dare
G.
me anything. You dare me to do something, I'm going to fucking do it.
But look, how is it if you're going to say to me that this referee crew is touchy on holding? Okay, I get it. If you want to be touchy on holding, fine, be touchy on holding. But you're going to call us for 16 penalties and them for 4? You telling me they played a clean game with no fucking holding?
That was fucking
and
shit.
I got to tell you this.
I saw some stills of holding that wasn't called.
I'm sure. They'd say, of course, you can call holding on every play. And for us, I think that they were. And the one of them that really bothered me was on defense, and it was against fucking Michael Davis, and it was a pass interference in the last fucking drive that extended their drive and got them down close enough to be able to try to score. Yeah. And I thought it was a penalty, but it was defensive holding. It was a 5-yard penalty, not a fucking 30-yard penalty. And I don't know why they called that pass interference.
Because
that
the ball's in
referee
the
crew
air.
last night was pissing me off. All right, yeah, you could say, okay, one of those Cosme holds, you could see him grab the guy and shove him down. But there was other times, and Cosme was he was apoplectic. What the hell's going on? This is a blocking technique.
Well,
and
because you saw McGarry get called for the same thing. In the
Right,
the
but you
fourth
got
quarter.
Sterator in the booth going, neither of these are holding calls.
That's exactly what Scott's just brought up in the chat there. He said we benefited from the Falcons hold where our defender fell. Yeah, agreed. But that Cosme one, it's like he's pushing down rather than holding, and he got called twice for it. And obviously one of them, the touchdown comes off the board.
And it's a technique. If you see their weight get too far over their toes, you
give me yank.
You push / take them down. And because if it's in the middle of the line, you barely ever get called for it.
But yeah, Scott G is right there. I don't see the messenger. I'd put it up there. But you are right. That one holding the call that they called on the Falcons was like he'd never had a grip on him. What the hell are you talking about holding there? But that just to me proves the point that how fucked up they were, and I just can't stomach the idea that you're going to call 16 penalties against 4.
It's what we've been saying is that the rules are written to the point where it's up to interpretation
in every fucking instance, on every second of every play.
So if you see a defender get pulled to the ground or fall down, hey, that's a penalty. I need to throw this. Or while another one's going to say, oh, he actually did a move. He's not going to throw it. There's no clear writing there, and there's no basis to go on.
It used to be simple. It really used to be simple. The guys out there on the field would send each other messages like this, and then the referee would know what to do. The referee would be like, delay a fucking game. Jesus Christ.
Jessy's going to remove that from the chat as soon as
surely that's unsportsmanlike conduct, surely.
Definitely use of hands. My God. Here, Jessy, get ready for make sure you take a box over there.
Do we have an Abner Wu?
I'm going to stop it because she may be watching, and I'm sure she's a very nice young lady. So I'm glad for you. All right, let's see. Where are we in our little thing here? We're talking about the elephant in the room, the penalties. I don't have an Abner Wu today. I was too busy today doing other shit that I didn't have a chance for an Abner Wu. But these penalties. So last week, I believe we counted up, you said it was 29 in the previous 3 games. So then 16 more yesterday. Accepted penalties or flags?
That was 13 accepted penalties. Yeah.
Wow, Jesus Christ.
So on the
That's
season,
42 in 4 games.
Where is it? We're up to 106 on the season.
He's not wrong, Scouts. He said Jessy and Keith are more alike than we thought. Eagles.
Being defensive.
No, the next one after that, that's cool. Yeah.
Jordan, you need to write that in the chat if you want to defend yourself. So not text me.
It's all good.
She said she's not a nice young lady. She's not.
Oh well, I'm just gonna I'll treat you like a nice young lady because you're my friend's friend. Scott G can't believe Jesse hasn't left for his date yet. Goddamn.
True, I'll be gone.
I agree, Scott. It's amazing that he's been able to hold out.
The blue chew takes a little bit to work.
All right, well, let's see.
Whoa.
Fucking Christ.
All right, the Say Less podcast.
Other ED medication is available. We have no sponsors here, so
yes. I'll tell you something. So far with this show today, I don't think you need any ED medication.
No.
I think that we are. We're doing quite well. It's in the whole other thing. Oh well. Say Less podcast. Welcome to the show here, Say Less podcast. I got to admit, unless you're doing porn, saying less on a podcast is really not the best idea. But even the people from Newarks were saying that when the calls was right or wrong, these refs are terrible all season for every team, and you're right.
Yes,
you're
right. Absolutely right.
And it's because of what Max said. They have written a rule because, and again, America. I blame you. It's not the referees. It's not the NFL. What the NFL hears is you going, my fantasy team lost because my quarterback got hit and he went down. And they go, well, let's make a rule to make sure that doesn't happen.
It's all about money.
We whine and cry, and so they make rules, and now the referees don't know what to do, so they just throw a flag. And I'm telling you, that guy was wearing that big, bulky jacket last night because he had flags stuffed up in that motherfucker so he could keep throwing fresh ones out there. All right, welcome to the show here, Sayles. Good to see you. Let's see here. Scouse probably gets these in different flavors. He probably has a fucking thing on his, like a candy dish on his
He's got
table at home.
a Pez dispenser full of Blue Chews.
Blue Chews for Scouse. All right, so let's see here. Penalties. Can they clean it up, or have we got a reputation now?
I mean,
You can clean it up.
stop fucking holding. Stop
Yeah,
going
it's
offside.
the
Stop
procedural
fucking-
stuff is
you know?
is really really annoying. That's the thing that you can't excuse is the actual procedural, the holdings that kill a drive straight away, and you're like, fucking hell. You know, Coleman was flagged
am I the only
twice
one?
last night.
I can't be the only one. Y'all in the chat, y'all over there on Twitter, please come on in here and talk about this in the chat, because I'm going to ask a question that involves everybody here. I have been noticing sloppiness in terms of guys turning towards the line of scrimmage before the ball is snapped, and it's like almost
Because they've been able to get away with it.
I know.
And now it's an area of emphasis, and now they're starting to call it again.
Well, because they should have been calling it from the goddamn first place. You can't go towards the line of scrimmage before the ball snaps. This ain't the goddamn XFL. All right, he hate me, he ain't out there running around. All right, that was probably the worst sentence I've said. My English teachers are all rolling over.
Can I just bring something up about
I
referees
do remember
as
he
well?
hate me.
Please do.
That we have to get right in the off season, and I really hope it's either the owners or the GM's meeting or the coaches, whatever it is, or whoever looks at these rules with the NFL, with the commissioner, and says, "Hey, let's bring this rule in." I think we have to bring in a procedural rule where this whole late substitution thing just fucking stops. Because we lost 2 timeouts because of that last night.
Yes.
It's all about the competition committee
what are
right
we
there.
doing?
All right, so let me ask you this, okay? Because I'm old and I don't know all the quick rules changes that they do, and I have been pissed off watching the referee stand there while the play clock counts down to 2.
Because it's
so whose fault is this? Is this our fault for substituting late?
So the offense can substitute when they need,
Right,
and the
Then
defense,
the defense can match.
right. The defense, there isn't any stipulation for them to do that in a hurry. What was the game that we had where you noticed that they were just like trotting off one of their big boys until there was maybe 4 or 5 seconds till the end?
It's been going for the past like 5
Right.
games now. You
And-
start to notice
Yeah.
that shit.
I mean, that's the thing is the defense is able because there isn't anything to stop them to do it slowly so that way the offense has to rush through the play getting started. Because even when the ref is standing there, they can't call signals. You'll see when they're standing there, Jaden's just standing
I know.
around.
It drives me crazy, and the play clock is running. And I saw this happen in another game on Saturday. I can't remember which one it was, but the play clock ran all the way down. They had to call a timeout.
So it's on the offense because they have to allow the defense that time. But at some point, the defense has to be able to be like take the initiative to match. Because you know when it happens to you on the defensive side, it's that's good gamesmanship. When it happens to you on the offense, it's like, all right, come on, let's go.
Honestly, I think a good way to stop this would be say, okay, at 10 seconds, that's it, no more. If you have not come on the field yet, you're not on the fucking field. I don't care if you got 10 guys out there, 9 guys out there.
I
solved the
agree.
problem.
That's exactly what Deluxe just said. There needs to be a specific time allotted for defense by
By the
refs.
refs,
Agreed. Yeah, agreed.
Refs have
Or
stood there for varied
if it's
amounts of time,
very-
sometimes
if-
really long, and you're right.
If it's very late, you get that time back on the play clock. They reset the play clock and say, no, we're setting it back to 15 seconds or whatever it may be.
See, this is what the NFL fails to understand, is that we don't watch to watch the referees. The problem is that we watch. So they go, they like everything. All right, but it's the refs getting in the way. And here's something we're going to see, all you Commanders fans, all you young Commanders fans that have not seen us in the playoffs before, and you've probably noticed this before, but you'll pay attention more now. But in the playoffs, they let them play. All right? They let them play. Penalties that aren't penalties, or penalties that are penalties in October
You
are
need
not
to call it
penalties.
all the same from
Right.
September 1st through February 2nd. Like
That's right. I agree. And because it's bullshit when they say, oh, this is the playoffs, it's different. Well, no. If you are, 4-3, hey, you might be entering your playoffs much quicker, than anybody else. And these fucking things matter. So, NFL, get your goddamn officiating straight. I'm tired of telling you. All right. What do we got here?
So playoff
Well,
seeds.
Pats.
All right. So,
John's tantrum, or Taman's tantrum, right?
I
there?
guess so. That wasn't really a tantrum, though. I haven't had a
No,
tantrum.
his vein didn't. The hat didn't get thrown. You'll know it's a tantrum when the hat gets thrown down the
The hat
hallway.
comes off. That's right. By the way, fucking cool hat, man. Man.
I like
on the
that.
back there.
Yeah.
I like that hat.
If I was one of those douchey guys that wore my hat backwards like this and said hey, check me out, man.
Well, you got to turn it the other way so it's facing the camera.
See, fuck that.
No,
Right
Jesus.
There you go. Damn straight. Look over here. You know what I can feel right now? Waves of envy coming from Scouse. That's what I feel. Waves.
He loves the hat.
Yeah, you feel the blood flow right here as your head gets a little bit bigger, doesn't it?
I can. Well, I just feel him. He's coming from overseas, and I can just hear it in
Those
the air.
listening on the audio version is going to take that the wrong way, Max.
True.
That was kind of the point.
I like what you did there, though, too. Yeah.
God damn. For me to buy a hat, it's going to cost me about $500 for all the fucking fabric. I know, and you're
Come
good. No, we're not going to come on. This dude never stops with me, so I'm not going to stop him.
So,
Right.
playoff seedings.
All right, playoff seating. So, okay, we are in the number 6 spot, right? Everybody that
Yes.
talks to Deuce, talk nice to him.
Deuce.
What?
What?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Well, that's just something that Deuce did today. My God, just play along and go for the fucking show, for Christ's sakes.
sure.
We don't get commercial breaks, for
be nice.
goddamn it. Jesus.
right.
You know, here goes this. The people that are tuned in, I do apologize. I'm the world's worst podcast host, but look what I got to work with here.
Tell us. Hey, I'm going to make a joke about Deuce, and we'll go. Okay,
I'm not making
we'll
a
go
joke
with-
about Deuce. It's just a fucking comment. Go ahead.
All right.
Go on.
So who would we rather play at this point? We've got, because it's Philadelphia, LA, or Tampa Bay as the 3 division winners.
If I had a choice, and the only way that this would happen is if the Rams lost and Tampa Bay wins, is play Tampa Bay. I think we
Yeah.
are a much different team than we were week 1, and I think we could definitely we have a better chance of beating them than we do Philly again or the Rams.
The
again.
Rams. Yeah.
Disagree.
All
I
right.
disagree.
Well, who do you think?
I would rather play the LA Rams at the moment because their offense has been awful for the last 3 weeks. I'm not
It really
saying it's
has.
going to be.
I mean-
I'm not saying it's going to be for the next 2 or 3 weeks, but it's been shit for the last 3 weeks. They've not got anything done on offense.
It has.
And it depends which Rams team turns up. Is it the Matthew Stafford who's going to get you 10, 13 points, or is it the Matthew Stafford who's going to put 40 points up against the Bills?
Right.
That's the thing.
You look at his passing yards, because, I mean, I like to play the numbers and whatnot.
And
I
you really
watch
wanna
his
play
passing yards
against
during the
Baker?
day. It's shockingly low. The last
You want to
3
play
weeks.
against Baker Mayfield and Mike Evans and the weapons that
Baker
they've
threw
got
5
on
touchdowns
the outside?
yesterday. Mike Evans was a beast yesterday.
I'm okay, thanks.
So
so
what
I'd
about
rather
you?
not play there.
I mean, for me, I'd rather play the Rams effectively. But when you look at the entire playoff picture,
No way.
it's really nice not having to worry about seeding or having to worry about, hey, this is what needs to happen for us to get in. It's the last week of the season, and we can do this essentially and just say, hey, here we go.
Here we go. I'm going to go against everybody. I want to play Philadelphia. Fuck them. I think that we matched up with them last time. We stopped Saquon Barkley. Look, Eagle fans were complaining all week that we beat their backup quarterback. Well, they did the same thing yesterday. And quite frankly, I thought Kenny Pickett played pretty good yesterday. He's not a schmuck. And it wouldn't be him in the playoffs anyway. It'll be Hurts in the playoffs.
No, it wouldn't. He's got broken ribs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Pickett does.
Pickett,
So-
yeah, but he's got and Thingy's still out. Hurts at the moment is still questionable for the final week. They think it's going to be Tanner McKee.
Well, we're talking 2 weeks now. If we're speculating a playoff game, I think he'd be all right by then.
But
And if we got to play Tanner McKee in the playoffs, oh my goodness, wouldn't that be wonderful?
So here's the
what?
thing, though.
Fuck the Eagles. I'd like to play them again too. Fuck
But-
the
So
Eagles. Fuck,
Jessy just
you
wants
hear that? Fuck the Eagles. Fuck the
So-
Eagles.
Well, go ahead, Mom.
So here's the thing, though. Oh, goodness. So if we were to lose to play Philly, because if we lose and Green Bay wins, we play Philadelphia.
Yeah, in the
And-
7th seed. Yeah.
But then after that, you're going, and assuming you win, you're going to Detroit or Minnesota.
It doesn't matter. You know what? Here's what I say about all of it. When you look at the NFC playoff picture, I think it's very strong top to bottom. It really is.
I mean, I agree, but if you look at it, the difference between the 7 to the 6 seed, because frankly, if Green Bay plays Philly, I think Green Bay wins the game. Minnesota playing Tampa, who knows? But frankly,
is it going to be Tampa though? Or are you?
So Tampa, so Atlanta still has the chance to make it at 9-8, and Tampa, if Tampa wins, they'd be 10-7. So Atlanta needs to win and Tampa needs to lose. I'm just assuming Tampa just because they're playing Spencer Rattler and he looked dreadful yesterday.
God,
so I look at it and I think, if Minnesota takes care of Tampa,
this
and
is the
Green
face
Bay,
of a guy who's making texts over there that nobody's allowed to read.
And Green Bay takes care of Philly, that is...
It got me.
He's like, I don't give a fuck about this.
He's looking at the camera with this look on his face.
I think we can all agree that, for this team, our team right now, our ceiling would be to win a playoff game.
Absolutely, 100%.
But
100%.
Are we expecting to win too?
Look, I can't say anything about that because with Jaden Daniels, you never know. That dude does not stop, man.
Right, and I mean, you can burst through the ceiling, but what I'm saying is, if I were to tell you in September, hey, this team's going to, this team is going to make the wild card round, win a wild card game on the road, and then lose in the divisional round, you would have been overjoyed.
Absolutely.
So there's a chance that could happen.
When did we last win a playoff game?
2005.
19 years ago.
We didn't.
So was that the 2005 season or in?
Yeah, that was 2005 season.
So it was actually in 2006. Okay, so 19 years ago.
17-10.
All right.
Jesus.
But yeah, Sean Taylor picked up a fumble and returned it for a touchdown that game.
Yeah.
But it's just. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Finish up.
You look at the playoff matchups and you look at what could happen to the divisional round. And I mean, you're looking still at going to Minnesota or Detroit in the second round.
Look, no
Inside,
matter what,
dome?
in the NFC, no matter what, it's a hard road to get there. Period. Because you look at Minnesota, they're fucking tough, man. Sam Darnold is kicking ass. What did he throw for 325 yesterday?
He threw for a lot.
They fucking shut the Packers down until like the second half of the fourth quarter.
They could still be the 1 seed.
You're right. They could win. And I mean, Detroit, frankly, when those two teams played in October, that was one of the best games of the year.
Yeah, and I mean, look, for us to go into, but that's the thing. We have the X factor. We got the guy that can't stop. We got the guy that says, "I'm going to take everything, put it on my back." Dude, that run that he had down to the 3-yard line yesterday, where he was, I mean, it's like, dude, do you not know how big you are?
Off motherfuckers.
He was, like a fucking pinball.
Scouse has got a point though as well. They're saying that Detroit's D is really beat up. Loads of people on IR. So if you did get there and it was against Detroit,
I mean, so's
that's
Jesse's,
a problem,
but it's
Timothy.
Okay.
Yeah, Timothy. Every one of them has problems that they would give this team, but I believe in our coaches. I don't know that we're going to go very far, but once you get in the tournament, anything can happen. And of course, Scouse is just going to lose. Going to be covered. All right, so
Jesus.
I tell you,
Scott, I appreciate that, by the way.
Yeah, I know. If I had a cap, I'd have doffed it. But yes, I got you, mate.
All right, now speaking of Jade,
I just don't. I don't think Tampa's nearly as good as they were.
I mean, they're without Godwin.
Which week you get.
And that's the thing.
If we could get Lattimore back, he will.
You're right. I mean, Lattimore versus Evans in the playoffs would be a movie to watch.
Yeah, it would. But Lattimore always gets, or most of the time, gets the better of Evans.
You're right, but I mean,
and then we could take care. We'd still have to worry about Bucky Irving. That's who. I mean, obviously, pretty much all the running backs we'd have to face. Bucky Irvin, Kyron Williams, and Saquon Barkley
That's what I say.
are all going to get theirs because
Aaron Jones, you got Aaron Jones up there, you got Josh Jacobs up there. The NFC is a rocky way to get to the Super Bowl. And I know everybody kind of thinks the AFC is the more superior conference, but dude, you look at some of the Vikings. You put the Vikings. I'd take the Vikings on with anybody right now, man. Those guys just don't quit, and they turn the ball over, man. They take it away. So,
I don't think the AFC is the superior conference. I just think they've got better quarterbacks. That's
that's
the thing. Superiority.
I mean, the AFC is so top loaded with quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Because,
so that brings up another question: Is the talk about Jaden Daniels as an MVP valid? Scotty,
not right. Not. Not right now. No, as offensive rookie of the year, that's sealed. That's done. Next year, give me another body of work like this and a 30 touchdown season.
But
then
next year doesn't have it. I don't know.
Yeah, I 1,000% disagree.
1,000%.
He should definitely be in the MVP conversation. He should get some votes.
He probably will.
You have your MVP, you have your offensive play of the year, then you have your
Right.
rookies of the years. Okay,
Right.
Now, by pure definition, and Dan Orlovsky, most everybody knows who he is. A big former.
He's an
quarterback.
excellent analyst. Not such a good quarterback, but an excellent analyst.
He put out a post today explaining the differences between the MVP and then the offensive player of the year. And the MVP is who does the best for their team. Like,
Right.
And if you look at our team compared to Lamar's weapons or what Josh Allen has around him, you can't sit there with a straight face and tell me that Jaden's doing a lot more with a hell of a lot less.
He's in the conversation if you look
I
at
agree.
it the proper way. He has to be.
I mean,
And what
Scouser
Scott-
just put something up there again saying Allen has scored 40 TDs this year. But what people
Right.
aren't, everyone's basically anointing Josh Allen at the minute as MVP, and I don't disagree with that. But I actually think Lamar Jackson should be the MVP. If you look at what he's got, even with Henry, he's got better stats, better QBR, more touchdowns, more yards.
Better offensive
more do you
line,
need?
better weapons, better defense.
If I was casting my vote today, it would be for Josh Allen. But that's just
like
me.
offensive player of the year. Yeah, you give it to Lamar. To me,
you wouldn't.
if
I don't
Jaden's
think you have- I don't-
Saquon
Jaden's
Barkley,
not in the
honestly.
conversation,
Yeah.
which I think he should be, but it's Josh Allen because Josh Allen doesn't have all the weapons that Lamar has or the offensive line that. Even though it's a lot better than what
They're
we
young.
have.
I mean, he's got a rookie wide receiver. He's got, the thing about Jaden, what Orlovsky said is 100% right. What are you to your team? All right. And if you can find me any other one person on the Commanders that is more responsible for them to be 11-5 and head into the playoffs, I'd like to know his name.
We're a
Because he's the guy.
2-3 win team tops without Jaden Daniels.
Right. But what Scott said
Probably.
brings up something that I think is an issue when it comes to these things. And that is that when you look at next year, he'll have a better body of work. This year has no bearing on next year's MVP. It should not. All right. Whatever MVP is, who has the best season? You could argue Sam Darnold as an MVP candidate.
Yeah, I don't
right?
disagree with you.
You could. But it does. But if it's
Joe
not one of these
Burrow.
things where you look at
Fucking
say
Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow, if he
I
had a
mean,
defense, right?
Your top five is going to be in no order: Lamar, Allen, Burrow, Darnold, and then Saquon or Jaden Daniels.
Saquon.
And
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
like in no particular order. You know, you could flip 3 through 5, but your top two are Lamar or Allen. And frankly, for me, I've changed my decision every day.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, it's so close between those two that whoever they give it to, I'm not
I
going to be
get
bothered
that.
by.
Yeah.
Here's what we call the usual bullshit coming out of Scouse's hot mouth. Lamar is overrated.
I mean,
Shut the hell up! What are you doing there? Jesus.
He just
Christ.
he just doesn't rate him as a passer, which I get.
No, he doesn't.
I don't
He's thrown 40 fucking
the
touchdowns.
dude's almost got 4,000 yards.
I mean, what the fuck?
Our team has never had 4,000 yards ever.
Now,
The problem is you typed that, Scouse. If you'd have said it, I might have been able to say, okay, I don't think I heard that right. But no, you typed it.
he took the time and fucking
Gosh.
hot take.
All right. You know what? We are way up. We are way behind. So let me just
Wait, hold on.
Okay,
Scott
all right, we're
just
holding
said- Hold on. Lamar has lots of yak. Let's just take this for an account. Lamar has 3,955 yards passing on the season. If you look at his yak for all of his receivers, that's 1983. I can't do math that well, but that is a little less than half.
The way I look at it is this: unless the wide receiver or the tight end or whoever catches the ball makes a bunch of broken tackles and a bunch of moves and goes out, the yak is often on the quarterback. You put that ball where it's supposed to be, and he can go.
Yeah.
Look at Jerry Rice.
Hey, Jerry Rice, I will never hear any arguments. That's the greatest football player I've ever seen, period. And there's been some that have
second.
come
Wait.
close, but
What does shit ain't he mean?
shit ain't he? What is that?
It means he's shit, isn't he?
Shit, ain't he? What that
So-
means is shit, ain't he?
Ain't as in isn't.
Scott orders that.
So there's a
Scouse
comma
orders that at
on your
Applebee's.
There's a comma that you missed there.
No, he's he's on the phone with DoorDash. I'm gonna have some shit, ain't he?
Abner shit,
So-
ain't he?
Abner Woo's delicious shit, ain't he?
All right.
Delivered right away. All right, so we are definitely way behind on time, so we're going to get right into this right now. So we're going to do some butt pats and head smacks. Go ahead, Jesse. Give me an offensive butt pat. Now we all are going to give Jaden Daniels.
Yeah,
A smack on the
I
ass.
won't go with Jaden, but I'll start with OZ. Man, he had a really important drop, but he's filling in for that number 2 role quite nicely. Past 2 games he's played very, very well, and hats off to him. He played a great game.
The great and powerful Oz. Yeah, I agree. I thought he played a freaking great game, and that one drop was bad, especially for the situation. That's the thing. But if you told me that he was going to have that kind of a game and just drop one pass before the night started, and yeah, man, the dude he had one where he got a reception and then got the yak after it just by fighting through tackles. That was nice. I like that. All right, Scott, who do you got on a butt pat?
But Pat, first one, I'm going to go out of the box. John Bates. He came up clutch when we needed him.
Master Bates.
John Bates. That's a good one. Go ahead. And we all determined last night that, if you want to make fun of a guy for masturbating, what the fuck's the matter with you? Of course we do. Our arms are this long for a goddamn reason. All right? If we weren't supposed to, our arms wouldn't be able to reach.
That's stupid.
Don't be telling me. Jesus Christ.
Chaos.
All right. So
Max.
we're moving right along. Max, who's your first butt pat of the offense?
Zach Ertz. 2 touchdowns.
Oh, we were going to harmonize the arts tonight. So ready,
No, we're
everybody?
not.
On
No, we're
3.
not. Nope.
Well, you stay out.
No,
Scotty, are you ready?
Yeah,
I'll
I'm
go
ready.
with you. 1, 2, and a 3.
And this is the last
I love
episode of the
it.
Bleeding Burgundy podcast.
This is quality podcasting.
It
Shut
was,
up.
it,
I don't know
was,
what you're
it was the
talking
one
about.
it was the one with my bollocks dropped and he got his touchdown. I went,
That's right. That's because he was trying
Yeah,
not to be heard by his
listened
wife,
to
who
that
would
one
have
last
come
night.
out
It
and
did-
So, I want you to know that when I'm watching these games, Megan is sitting next to me, and every time either Terry or Ertz makes a play, she goes, "Here we go," because in our chat, these two every time Ertz or Terry.
The whole stadium was doing Terry
Nobody
last night.
get
He
that-
caught
nobody
one
get that
pass.
one.
They all started with Terry. That's great. Which was fine with me because that allowed Zacchaeus to be able to get that kind of a night. And look, of course, we always have the debate about whether Terry's elite. And he did have a couple of drops last night. One of them I thought was, he could have caught it. But
He should have had both of them.
tough.
Elite
Tough. Look, I
receivers
mean, I
catch
watched
those.
Justin Jefferson drop a touchdown last week. It was in his fucking hands at the 5-yard line. He just flat out dropped it.
Jamar
happens.
Chase dropped one in the end zone.
Yeah, it happens. So, but I think last night, the fact that he only had 5 yards is meaningless because everybody else did so well, and I think that he was part and parcel of that. Max, did you give up? How you gave one to Ertz?
I gave one to Ertz.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and give one to
Still
Jamison
on.
Crowder. Jamison Crowder, man, stepping up into the role that you know he can play, and that's the kind of veteran that you like to see out there. Jesse, you got any more butt pats on offense?
Cliff Kingsbury. I thought
That
He was in his bag
super
last
counter
night.
that he pulled out in the third quarter, where we had 2 pullers on a fake thing, and Jaden ran right. What was that?
unreal.
Yeah.
Cliff sees that he has the offensive line needs help. He sees that he's got 2 backups out there, and he says, "Here we go. I'll pull 3 guys and send everyone left."
yeah.
Did somebody say C-Rod already?
Nobody said
Someone in the
C-Rod,
chat
but
did.
that's a
Yeah,
damn
we
good
can
one.
Find that.
C-Rod was mine if you had said Ertz.
Sorry, mate.
he
C-Rod.
did.
He
I
has
I
to
could
get
have
one. He
swore
was very
somebody
good.
did.
I
I
got
thought
one
Rodriguez.
more.
Oh, it was
I'll tell you,
earlier on.
I think
Whoever said it,
Rodriguez.
yeah, they called it. Somebody
Yeah.
called it earlier on, and they.
I mean, as Scott G just puts, McNichols just
Exactly.
for that fourth
Has to
down.
be. That was my
That was
response.
key.
I mean,
Huge
look,
play.
the offense. Can we just say that the entire second half offense just line up? Like,
Yeah, I thought so. I mean, we kept the ball for 13 and a half minutes in the third quarter.
We kept it for 20 out of the first 25 minutes of the second half.
Yeah. It's just that I don't know what happened. We would let them stay in the game. That was crazy.
Yeah, Timothy had said it earlier. I just can't find it in the chat. I remember seeing it, though, Timothy. So good call on that.
All right.
I tell you what, I like Rodriguez. I think I liked him last year. I said so on this very podcast. I think he runs angry. I think he runs hard. I said yesterday there was one play where he got stopped, and I said this is a rarity with him on his actual back. His name is on the ground. That does not happen very often with that guy, man. He goes forward, and not the touchdown run, but the run that set up the touchdown. Dude, that was like he had a brawl for 10 yards. He was just fighting people for 10 yards, just punching this guy, beating on that guy, beating on this dude. I love the way he runs, man, and I think he should have a future here. We should never cut him again. I think he should be on the roster starting with training camp next year, period. Let's see. You got any more butt pats on offense?
I mean, we covered everybody.
Pretty much. Everybody that deserved one, I thought.
Terry for deflecting, I suppose.
I guess.
So that OZ could... I mean, he was just locked up. AJ Terrell was awesome. You know what I mean? He was very, very, very good.
Well, when you see the other guys getting as open as they were, he was also drawing. They weren't just singling up Terry.
Yeah.
We've seen him get bracketed the majority of the season, and it's just he's able to get through the bracket the majority of the time.
He just couldn't do it yesterday.
Or it wasn't in the cards for him to do it. Maybe they just wanted him to look like he was going to do it. Take the guy that's open, and it was Zacchaeus.
If you look at when they're running man up on him, you've got AJ Terrell in his face, and then you've got either Jesse Bates or Justin Simmons as the top half. And, I mean, those are both all-pros.
They are good guys, yeah.
That's two all-pros lined up on Terry, who, according to Jesse, is not an elite receiver. So
we're not going to start that tonight. Terry gets a head smack, says Scott G. Need elite guys to show up. Thanks.
It's like Scott G and I planned that.
That's baiting him. He's baiting him.
Scott typed that last night. Had it sitting on his clipboard.
He's like, I'll just put this little boilie on the bottom of there, and then we'll send that one out.
Let's see here. James says, I've only managed to tune in, so I don't know if you spoke about it yet. What do you think needs to change defensively for us to be able to do something in the playoffs?
A new secondary.
Well, I don't know that there is an answer because regardless, we're going to have to put St. Just out there, or we're going to have to put...
It's making faster adjustments.
Davis.
Because the last 2 weeks we've been making adjustments at halftime, and we need to be able to do that on the fly once we see what the offense is trying to line up.
I don't know how feasible that is, or what adjustments they make. I mean, I'm sure they see it, but I just don't know. I know Witt's up in the booth. He sits up in the booth.
He looked sick last
night. Scouts with the best idea yet.
Exactly, Scouts. Just sneak Benjamin
both
St.
Davis and St. Just out there. It's going to make it, dude. You don't want to get embarrassed like that.
Just put them in one trench coat.
But it seems to me,
if Forbes was still in, you'd get away with
it.
it.
The defense that they're trying to, put their toe in the water and see what the team is doing, and then they kind of go from there. But I don't know. It's easier said than done from on the sidelines, that's for sure.
With Lattimore, we had 2 weeks of excellent cornerback play. They didn't even look at him against the Saints. He had a hell of a battle against A.J. Brown, in which I think he probably ended up maybe losing a split decision, but that's okay. It's an all-pro wide receiver.
It's going to happen. I mean, John, you know this as well as anybody, or most people. The league is set up for the offense to fucking win.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Most people are stupid. I'm glad I know more than they do. Well, but yeah, you're right. It is set up for the offense to win, and I think that Tim, we love you, buddy. Mr. Meek, we love you, but I know old Tim likes this. He is never ever going to say anything bad about anybody on our team, and you know what? For that, I love and respect him more than anything. But I can't always agree. And in this particular situation, James, I'm not sure what we can do. I know earlier in the season we sold out to stop the pass by just going after the passer to try to mask them in the back, but giving up rushing, and we just ran through the NFC running backs that we're going to have to. What do you do?
It's kind of tough because we don't have an elite pass rusher. We don't have an elite tackle. We don't have our elite linebacker is 40 fucking years old.
Right.
He's kind of
Luvu,
lost
where
his
was
step, but
he
he's still
yesterday?
playing very good. I mean, Luvu's great, but he
kind of disappeared yesterday. I didn't see him much at all.
And he does that sometimes. And without having, Chin and Martin, I think Quan Martin has quietly been one of the best players on the defense pretty much all season long.
Picked that pass off in the first drive. That was beautiful, wasn't it?
I mean, the ball got thrown right to him.
Dude, you know what, though? You got to be there.
We don't have no superstars.
Right. You have to be there for those. All right, we've seen a lot of those overthrown passes that I'm old. I'm going to harken back to 1983, all the way back to before most of you were ever even thought of, before your fathers were even born. But in seriousness, the Redskins of 1983, even though they got beat by the Raiders in the Super Bowl, they set an offensive scoring record, and they set a record that I don't think is ever going to get beat, which is plus 45. It's been a long time. Plus 45 turnover differential.
43.
43, thank you. That's crazy when you think about it. Plus 43. They took the ball away 43 more times than they gave it up. And they got a lot of them from guys that were just behind the play, not necessarily out of position, but waiting for those kinds of things because they had a pass rush that could force it. You know what I'm saying? We got one of those from Penix yesterday, but we had several other ones where he just flat out overthrew the guy. And what are you laughing at, Scotty?
I'm just laughing at Tim's comment, but yeah.
Let's see what Timothy got to say. I have nothing but negative things to say about Benjamin St. Just. I only contend that Davis is worst. I want Benjamin St. Just deported back to Canada. I agree. I think we should stuff him in a barrel and make him go back up Niagara Falls, and that should be the end of that.
All right. Head smacks, defense.
Head smacks
offense.
on offense.
We haven't done any head smacks on offense, and we haven't done any butt pats on defense. What do you want to do first?
You pick.
Heads.
We'll do the butt pats for defense.
All right.
We'll stay positive. All right, butt pats for defense. Go ahead, Jesse.
I'm gonna go Quan Martin. I think he's been playing very, very well, and he likes to hit, and he's a smart player, and he was in the right place at the right time to get that interception.
That's right. Scotty, what about you?
I'm going to go Fowler Jr. He was very good again last night. Sack, a forced fumble.
Get your hands away from the fucking head.
That's why I said that earlier. And, I said a
because-
gorilla running through
because
the
of-
woods, and all of y'all got
because
very
of that.
uncomfortable. But, you seem like, but he comes in like that, and he got flagged again yesterday.
Doesn't you come down, you can't hit him in the head. You got to hit him in the
Because
shoulder.
his arms are so... I mean, I get it. You're supposed to put your arms up. But...
Because of that, though, he did force a fumble on the second time he did
that. That's the risk reward of that action is you're going to hit him in the head or you're going to hit the ball.
Well, this is where I get kind of tired with the NFL because, that's what they teach defensive linemen. If you can't get there, get your hands up. And his hands are up almost as soon as he starts making a move. He did a lot of spins yesterday. They did a lot of stunts to spin him inside. And as soon as he starts to spin, his hands are going up. And, you got to come down somewhere. And that's the thing I get tired about with the NFL. They expect these defensive players to play without physics in mind. Scotty, you're laughing at something again.
It's okay.
Go ahead. Please be my guest. Let's see. We'll say this. When Scott G goes quiet for a while during a chat, he's taking a phone call. You notice Jesse hasn't been saying much today. Look, he's looking down again. Oh, we can read it in his glasses. What does that say? She is not a nice girl.
Come on, move on.
All right, butt pats on defense. Max, go ahead.
Well, Scott's got to go.
Oh, I thought Scott went.
I already was. I said Fowler.
I'm sorry.
And speaking of Fowler, he needs a half a sack to cash a $1.5 million bonus.
No, he already he already cashed $250 last night for getting 10.
Well, getting his next bonus against the Cowboys would be nice.
One of the things that's really fun on Red Zone for the last game is they track all of these contract incentives, and they show when it happens. So that'll be fun to watch. But mine is Jeremy Chin. The dude is laying the lumber everywhere right now.
That was the one I was going to pick, and I'm going to go ahead and put this out there. This is Jeremy Chin's new nickname. We don't play on primetime very often, so we don't see these guys very often. When
Nuts
they say
on your chin.
Dude, he's got a freaking square head. And he hits like a hammer, so I'm going to call him Hammerhead. Jeremy Chin's new nickname is Hammerhead. And by the way, who was it that said that Jaden Daniels is called the Slim Reaper? That's fucking brilliant. The Slim Reaper.
I like Jedi 5.
Jedi 5 is
Jedi 5 's pretty
fantastic.
good.
Jedi 5
yeah.
Slim Reaper, I like that. That's really good.
Are we still
all right.
calling? Are we still calling Zacchaeus the Wizard? Is that what he's going to be known as? Because he's the Wizard.
Oh,
of
he's the
Oz.
great and one. He's the great and powerful Oz.
Until he messes up, yes.
That's right. He's the great and powerful Oz, and then until they pull the curtain back and show that he's just a little old man from Kansas, we're good to go. All right, so I have to give a butt pat on defense. Let's see. Since Mac took Jeremy Chin, I'm going to go ahead, and you took Quan Martin, and I'm going to go ahead and say Mikey Sanderstill. Didn't hear his name very much last night. Didn't hear his name very much, Ben, and that's a good thing.
I think the one time we heard him is when he that deep
I'm going to give him
route.
I'm going to give him a head smack.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I saw
anyway,
Jesse
it's
look
up to
down
you.
on it. But that's what happens when you take all of my stuff, and it's an hour and a half into the show, and I've been
All right.
enjoying the Kettle One. You got any more butt pats on defense?
No.
No?
I mean, you can go Wagner.
I would give one to Wagner. Louvu kind of disappeared, I thought. I thought the defensive line, you need better
Shite.
pressure on a rookie than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't too thrilled with it. All right, so let's do some head smacks. Head smacks on offense. Why don't we go ahead and start with you, Scott?
Head smack on offense. My first one, Coleman had a terrible game. Sorry, awful.
Yeah, he did. He did not. Worst game yet, I think.
Yeah, didn't have a good game at all.
Who was he primarily going up against?
They varied it. They
Judon,
kept varying
Matthew
it.
Judon, yeah.
Judon, and then they bring that other guy, 55, over there, and Dick with him too. But as usual, I can't remember who it was on social media, but they're like ready to cut him, and it's like, dude, he had a bad game. Settle down. Jesse, what about you? Who's your first head smack on defense?
I'm going to go Terry.
Or on offense?
He kind
Gotta
of
show up.
disappeared. 2 big drops. I mean, can't do that.
Yeah. Got to show up in a big game. I agree. When we have this continual conversation about whether he's elite, we've got a lot of people that I'm starting to fall on that side because he keeps getting put on short lists with elite names. But you got to show up in the big games, man. You got to show up when it matters. And you're right. he
Targeted
didn't.
7 times, had 1 catch.
Yeah. Not very good. Not very good. All right, Max, what about you? Who's your first head smack on offense?
I think the worst offensive lineman besides Coleman was Nick Allegretti.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought he was okay. I thought Cosme had a much worse game.
The thing with Cosme is, Cosme got called for the 2 holds, but as a whole, he didn't really have that much of a...
3.
It was 2 holds. But as a result of that, though, everything else he did was not terrible. Allegretti was just getting routinely beat. Grady Jarrett is a hard get. I get that. But Grady Jarrett was in the backfield the majority of the game.
So how much of that was the loss of Tyler Biotish and not being able to get
Massive.
that help? I mean, Dieter,
I thought he played okay.
thought, is he adequate?
He started 64 times in the league, John.
He's
Okay, but that doesn't mean shit. And
So,
we've seen
I know, but I'm
guys
saying
start a
you
long
should
time
be-
and they're terrible.
But
you
the
should
problem,
be okay.
The
You
problem
should
is when he came in here, when he came in the game, it wasn't Dieter making the line calls. Then it goes
was
to
Allegretti.
Allegretti.
Right.
So you're missing so much with Biotish being out.
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, Allegretti might not have had the best game, but that whole left side of the line was getting abused. They really were.
But who's calling the protection calls then? Is it Allegretti that's calling the
Allegretti.
protection?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. If Biotish is out.
Allegretti should take his helmet off once. I guarantee you at least 2 people on the defense that look in his eyes will turn to stone. I'm telling you. It's nothing against him.
His helmet's probably got prosciutto and salami inside it.
He's one ugly motherfucker.
Yeah, James, absolutely. I gave him a butt pat when we were talking about that on the offense. I think Cliff called a great game.
All right, so where are we with head smacks on
You're on a
defense?
head smack for offense.
My turn for head smacks on offense? All right, I'm going to have to go with Sam Cosme. If you get called for it once, you can't do it again, and I get it that they think that those were clean things, but apparently I think that we do need to bring in somebody during the course of a week, this week, to do a film session with those guys and say, this is your upcoming referee, and this is what they call. This is what they're after, all right? And I don't know that they don't, but it would seem to me that with the amount of penalties that we've had, which to my unofficial count is 37, or no, excuse me, 42. 42 over the last 4 weeks is unacceptable, 100%. And they're not all on the offensive line, but dude, can't you just call in somebody that says, this is your ref this week? This is what he's looking for. Wait, don't you think it would have helped? At least,
they do.
At least it would have helped him, but that's my...
I think that's the Dave Girardi type of for that guy right there, Dave Girardi.
Dave Girardi. He ain't doing a very good job.
To your point, though, Max. Yes, Cosme got done on 2 penalties, both holds, but when one negates a fucking touchdown,
right?
Then you don't have to play overtime. That is an instant head smack.
We scored that drive. That was Rodriguez's touchdown.
Even still,
was it?
You're still putting the risk out there.
I thought it was the OZ. He got called on the OZ one.
He got called on the OZ, but then we scored that same drive, right?
Well, yeah, but you're still putting the risk out there that you want.
I'm sorry, that was the field goal. My apologies.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to some head smacks on defense. Jesse, go ahead.
Mike Davis.
Has to be.
And
seriously,
let's hope that all these head smacks
there you go.
Put him in the concussion protocol.
I'll give another one to St. Juice just because
he showed up. He was out there, yeah.
Okay. If it's me, I'm going to go with Mikey Sammerstein. I know he had a good game. He had an okay, steady game, but you got a penalty for being offside.
That was a bad one.
And then you got absolutely roasted by Drake London. I mean, I know you're going to get roasted occasionally as a cornerback. I get that, but when it's that definitive and it's that time of the game, you can't get
the problem with that is that they're trying to protect the obvious weak spot. You have to, something's going to get exposed. When you have a guy like Davis out there, and you've got to say, okay, we're going to try to hide you or protect you with some extra guys rolling over. That means, Mikey, you're going to have to take it down. You're going to have to do it. And I'm not going to disagree with you giving him a head smack for that. But
I don't think you can necessarily blame him for that 4th down. I mean,
no, I'm not saying you can. It's on a lot, but it's the plays you noticed, isn't it? So I thought he had a good game, but he wasn't at his usual best.
It's the thing is with the corner, if you hear their name, they're either having a great game or a terrible game.
Right.
And I mean, with Mikey, that play specifically, if you look at when the ball is thrown, London hadn't made his cut yet.
Yeah.
So it's a great timing route, and it's one of Penix's good throws for the game.
He had a few. He had a bunch of.
But he had a lot of.
He had a few. A touchdown at the end.
Like I said to you before, though, when Max, you weren't on at the start, but like I said at the very start of the show, Penix is definitely going to be the future of their franchise. He is looking.
It ain't
good.
Kirk.
I think so.
They got no choice.
Yeah, he's on the road. His first road game. He's got some timing issues he needs to sort out. That's for sure. If he could go back, I think he'd want 5 or 6 of them throws back. But yeah, we got lucky on a few of them. But there was a couple of times where the ball didn't fall, and Mike Sammer still got roasted a couple more times. And that's why it infuriated Tim Meek, who's going, "Oh, no one's calling Mikey out." But if that was Benjamin St. Juice, and it's like, no, I get you. So that's why he gets.
One's a rookie there, Tim. But all right, so Max, give me a head smack on defense.
The interior defensive line. You got to. I mean, you have to get a push in the run game, and if you're just getting pushed backwards routinely, what are you doing?
They did stop. I mean, like I said earlier, though, the best way to stop their run game is to stay on the field for 13 minutes of a quarter. That's the way to do it. My head smack is this fucking end of the fourth quarter defense. The whole damn thing. There is no reason why you should be letting that team do that as easily as they did. I'm beside myself with these late game collapses, especially since yesterday you could not blame it on. Hey Sheila, how are you? These Commanders are not just a team; they're a brotherhood. You could say they're a band of brothers. They got each other's back, and I agree with that. You're right, and that is a big key to this team going forward. I forgot what the hell I was saying because Sheila was so nice to come on there and say what she said. So. All right, these fourth quarter collapses. Okay, yesterday you could not blame it on fatigue. All right, we kept the ball for almost the entire third quarter and almost the entire fourth quarter. But when Penix needed to make a play, he made a play. Dude, we got them to snap the ball over the head of Bijan Robinson, and it didn't matter. They turned right around and got it back in the end zone.
Look what happened on that touchdown. Is we ran a cover 2, and our middle defenders were standing at the 5-yard line.
Yeah.
Why? It's 3rd and goal. Why are you standing on the 5? You got to cover the sticks.
Yeah. These collapses get on my damn nerves, and like I said, in the past few weeks when we've seen it happen, we can blame it on fatigue, but not yesterday, and that's kind of annoying. Unless they didn't take a nap and it was just late in the day, you know.
Anyone got anything else for D?
I'm good.
I think I'm spent.
I got one more.
Go ahead,
and
give it to us.
It's on 94. Daron Payne. You gave up a penalty that got called on 97 FA when it wasn't FA. Stop.
Oh, yeah.
You can't do anything about FA
out.
when Scott's around. Scott is going to come after you with a stick. Yeah, can't have that. I know when I saw FA about a call, I thought, damn, Scott's on. He's probably.
I literally sent in our chat, tell FA to hold his water.
Probably calling.
Yeah, and then I looked and said, hang on a
telling her
minute,
to
it's
console
94.
herself.
And it was 94. So, yeah. Anyway.
All right, then. So, we got anything left? We are in the playoffs, boys.
Are we going to rest people? Are we going to rest
Yeah,
people?
are we going to rest anybody this week? What would you do?
Hell no.
For 1 quarter. Like I'd play him 1 quarter, get a sweat, and sit him down.
I'd treat it like a preseason game.
No. And the reason being is every time we've had a break, we've come back flat as fuck.
That's true.
True.
I would say Jaden taking all these hits is making me very, very nervous.
I mean, I think you sit
it
down.
is
and
literally only a matter of time.
Sit Terry McLaurin down. Sit anyone but Chris Rodriguez down. Sit Jaden down.
If you have an injury, you can sit, or even
if you have
through
just
something.
an owie.
Yeah,
They're still playing for playoff position.
I would want to see Dieter probably start if Biadish can't go.
They're still playing for playoff position, and I don't see any way that they sit down.
I would say if Dieter's starting this week, at least because the last time that we saw and he didn't have a very good game was when Biadish was
was in New Orleans,
right? And he was scratched at almost the last minute.
Yes.
So this week they would at least have a full week of practice with Dieter to be able to do a little bit better. I would hope. But I tell you what, I'd be inclined to sit some people. But Jesse, you're right. We come out flat after we have a break. I'm just very nervous about watching Jaden take these hits. If I'm them next week, if I'm going to have him play, okay, play. But Jaden, you're not running for 107 yards tomorrow. Next week, no, thank you. Thank you anyway.
Play to win the game, John. Play to win the game.
I get it. Play to win the game, but
play to
don't
keep
take
the 6th seed.
Don't take the risk. I think it's sometimes last night he scared the shit out of me. All right, then. So we will be back on Friday afternoon.
Nothing hurts him.
All right.
Except for his ribs.
Let's hope. All right, so we will be back. I will be back, and all these guys too. We'll be back Friday afternoon at 5:30 to discuss the upcoming Cowboys game, the 1 Point Safety Show, of which Scott is the star. Now, Scott, let me ask you this: as a star of the 1 Point Safety Show, does it really give you any extra panache in the UK to say I've got the biggest head in the kingdom next to me here?
Fucking. Yeah, no. Scouse is the star of the show. He's the X's and O's. He's the X's and O's to my cheap humour and wit.
Right. See, Scott makes lists and Scouse bites the head off a chicken, and everybody has a good time. So, no. I would say that I'm only kidding, but I'm not. And the fact is that Scouse's head is filled with knowledge, so you should tune into the 1 Point Safety Show. Look, Scott's about ready to kick me.
Thursday,
he's like,
3
fuck
o'clock.
This guy.
All right.
Thursday, 3 p.m. on the Eastern Coast. We will be back 5:30 on Friday on the Eastern Coast, and then we'll see you later.
Yeah. Thanks for everybody in the
Have
chat.
a happy New Year, everybody.
Have a happy New Year, everybody.
everyone.
Everybody's going to resolve to do certain things. I'm sure Jesse's going to resolve to fucking Eagle fan. All right.
He's going to start at 11:59 so you can say it took him 2 years.
Say anything.
Jesse's getting ghosted after this show.
Don't take me seriously. In all candor, you can't take me seriously. All right, then we're out of here. See you later.
See you guys.